again with some more content. I know it's been a while. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the world today. I know that I got a lot of brand new subscribers. So if you like any of my content or any of my past videos or this video, then pound that subscribe button. And I appreciate any of your comments and feedbacks. So what today this video is going to be about is I have a little toolkit with me that I use when I go out into the woods. And I have some other toolkits here on the side. And what I have with me today in particular is I have a bag that is designed for bugging out for your wife. Now, this particular bag that I have with me doesn't have all the tools and the heavy equipment that maybe a husband or someone who can handle more weight has. But what this has is more essential things that your wife would like to bring if you're bugging out. So I just want to show you some contents that are inside this particular bag. It's made for a woman and her specific needs should you have to bug out, or if it's a crap has hit the fan type situation. So let's get into it. So here in the top portion, to start off, we have a plastic bag. We have a little portable can opener. We have a light that's mounted to the side of the bag. It has the tab in it, so it's not turning on right now. We have a bag mounted light. Inside this compartment, we have some Repel bug spray. We have Zippo lighter fluid. Should it be a little difficult for your wife to start a fire while they're out there, or while we're out there. In this compartment, we have an axe. We have some more knives. We actually have a big knife on the side with a glass breaker. It's not a full tang knife, but it'll get the job done. And any threat that your wife or your girlfriend encounters, as you can see how long that is, they're not going to get much close to her before she's able to get them with something like that. We have a flint in that same pocket. And what I like to use a lot are cotter pins. Cotter pins are good when you're setting up your shelter for the night. They're a lot smaller. I go with the thicker size, so they're very sturdy, very durable. They're not going to break or anything like that. They stick into the ground amazing, surprisingly. So I like to use cotter pins when I'm out there. You can tie things to them. Secure things to trees a lot easier with your cotter pins. I like this particular bag that I got off of Amazon because it folds open like a drawer here. I pack this type of cording because she can hang her unmentionables and things up that need to be dried. The reason you use this because you don't want to waste all your paracord for something like that. Speaking of which, it's always good to keep some 550 or 1100 paracord with you when you're bugging out. So your wife has that inside her bag. First aid kit, dry socks, rubber bands, and knife sharpener. She has more lighting here. Headlamp, flashlight, crank flashlight, waterproof matches, and an assortment of lighters. And she has a compass. It's important while we're going through these videos that we mention that you want to teach your wife how to use all of these things. not just pack them inside of her bag, but show her how to use these things. Surprisingly, a lot of people aren't good with directions. So if you're gonna pack a compass inside your wife's bag, you wanna make sure that she knows how to use it. And she knows, you know, which direction you guys are facing, which direction your home is, or where you are in the woods. Kind of give her a starting point, so if something were to happen, she'd know where to go, or, you know, what direction to head in. Now these in particular, when I spoke about, you know, women having more complex problems than men, these are sanitary, reusable, sanitary pads that she can use. They're reusable, they're rinsable, and she can replace them. She can utilize multiples of these. It's probably about 10 of these inside of a pack, as well as rewashable sanitary napkins inside of this. You know, she just take this down, make sure you pack a bar of soap, she can rewash that and use it. And here you have headgear for if it's cold outside. When everybody bugs out, you know, hopefully everyone has time to put on the appropriate gear in which to be able to bug out. So you just pack some socks, because of course you want to keep your feet dry. You pack a hat because you want to keep your head dry. That's where all the heat escapes from. So you pack that as well. In addition to the first aid kit, you got a splint. That's gonna go with that. In this bag, you got hot hands and hot feet when it's cold. You got lightsabers to clean glass or your glasses, and to sanitize as well with sanitizer, eating utensils and tissues. Portable charger. Hey, it's actually charging right now inside the bag. It's a solar charger. You want to keep that with you, so you always want your wife to have something to be able to charge her phone, so you guys can keep in communication with you, should communication still work in the event that a disaster happens. Electrical tape, zip ties. This is our water filter here, camel colored water filter for drinking water and making sure that it's purified. And this is a neat little toy here. This is actually a little tool that women can use to stand up and urinate. So, you know, when you're out in the woods and stuff, and, you know, women might be a little squeamish from, you know, bending down so close to the ground because you don't want a spider or any type of insects to walk up somewhere that it's not supposed to be. Well, this allows them to stand up just like you would and use the bathroom without being so close to the ground and allowing something like that to happen. So those are the contents inside of my wife's bug out bag. So easy enough. That's about all that's packed up in that bag. One thing I also wanted to show someone is that, or show everyone, is that I have this little portable pouch that I carry with me now. Now, this thing is supposed to be utilized for, you know, your cellular device or anything like that. But what I keep in it, in the front pouch, I keep me a little folding knife. I keep me an ink pen for writing right here on the side. Once again, those cotter pens that I told you about that are really good for setting up camp. I got a whole bunch of those right there on the side, ready to go. Should I want to set up an A-frame tent out of like a tarp or something, then I could just use these cotter pens. And you say, well, how do you use these cotter pens to set up this A-frame tent? Well, I have a light here, and I'm going to show you in a minute just how you set that up. So with this light, if I can dig down in here, pull this thing out. We got some other stuff in here. I have to take some other stuff out to get to it. But this stuff is great. It's a lifesaver, and I've added this to my bug out kit. Is micro cord. You can get about 100 foot of micro cord for $5, and this stuff has a little over 100 pounds of tensile strength. So this is very, very good stuff. More than enough tensile strength to be able to hold your tarp or your tent up. And so I use this. It saves me on using a lot of paracord. And man, as small as it is to be as strong as it is, then this stuff is really good. I also keep tacks, markers. So when you go out into the woods, you can kind of mark your trees and figure out where you've been or where you need to go so you won't get lost out there. And you just keep your bag open while it's positioned on the side, and you can just pull your tree markers out as you go with one of these packs here. Of course, I have the carabiner on there should I need that. And here's something funny that actually works out for me. This is a cotton swab holder for cotton swab when you're traveling. What I've did, and I've taken and grabbed that thing, and you can open this thing if I can get it open. Jeez. I guess it gotta be, there we go. Look at that. I got some screws in there. And those are just your typical drywall screws. And with that micro cord that I mentioned to you, you can screw that thing inside of this tree or any tree, and you can wrap your micro cord around it. And if you don't have a branch or a limb that you can run your paracord or your micro cord to, then you could just tie it to one of these drywall screws, and you can hang your tarp or your tent to a tree without having any limbs or anything that it needs to go to. Put that in there. Of course, we got a flint with a starter already attached to it. That's inside the little toolkit. And you say, well, you got those drywall screws, but how are you supposed to screw them inside the tree? Well, I'm sure you guys are all familiar from Home Depot, one of these little cheap 6-in-1 screwdrivers. What you do is you take the attachments out, you put them inside the body of the screwdriver, and then you keep the stem in there. So now, you drop them out, put them in, and drop it in place. Now you got your whole screwdriver. See how easy that is? Packed up. Now, what I also like to show you is everybody's like, oh, well, you know, the Gerber or, you know, this brand, that brand of saw. Well, you don't always need a special brand of saw. This thing is a cheap little Stanley from a tool store. And of course, with you being able to have that screwdriver with you and handy at all times, replaceable saws, wood saws. And this particular little deal has a little storage for some saws underneath. So you can store extra saws underneath, cut branches, pieces of wood, smalls, you know, that you would need to start your fire and tinder. And you can use this saw, reusable. So that's a good little deal. I actually keep that inside my bug out bag. I do have a Gerber saw, but I also keep that as a backup because I can replace the saws. And if I need a blade that's fresh, brand new, and sharpened just like it came from the store, then I have blades that are stored right away inside the saw itself. This is a little something I created too. It's a holder that actually came off of my level 3 body armor vest, and I kind of just turned it into like one of those bug out robes, if you can look at this here. So I got some more of those extra saws for that Stanley that I just mentioned. I got a little pry bar here. It's like a 3-in-1. Then we got some, a little ant on me. Then we got some tweezers and some crescents here.
And so I just carry that with me out in the woods, and I thought that that was a nice little addition to the bug out bag that I've added in order to make any of my trips out in the woods or the wilderness a little more easier for me. I know that everything that I do isn't going to work for everybody. I just try to give everybody some ideas of some things that they can incorporate that might make their experiences, should they be, you know, woodsmen, make their experiences a little easier. This is what works for me. So I got more content coming. I'd like to shoot a video and let you guys know what me and my family use in our home defense process, and what we use so far as our home defense tools to keep my family safe. And maybe you can take some tips away from that in the future to keep your family safe. So when that content comes out, hopefully that you subscribe and you enjoy the video. So I thank everybody for their time, and I'll see you later.